Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Renee. Welcome to my channel. Today I did a makeup look inspired by an acrylic painting I saw on Instagram that I absolutely fell in love with. I will try and insert a photo right here, and I will leave the artist's Instagram information in my description box below. But this is how it turned out, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I think it's one of my favorite makeup looks that I've done on myself. Yeah. So if you want to see how I created this look, keep on watching. All right, so I know I look a little bit crazy, but I have my base on and I have my eyes prepped for the look we're gonna do today. So I did my regular skin prep and then I did my brows. They're pretty dark, but I want them that way for this look. And then I did a mixture of my Super Stay Full Coverage foundation in 112 and my Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation in 00 BB, because this one's too dark and this one's too light, so I'm hoping that it looks okay on camera and I got the right mixture. For my eyes, I just used my e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer in white because I want to be able to get the most pigment payoff and the brightest colors that I could possibly get. And for my eyes today, I'm going to use my Morphe Artistry Pride palette that I don't use very often, but I love so much. So my eyes today are going to be turquoisey blue. I'm going to use my Morphe M505, which is this big blendy brush, just to pack some product and blend some product out in my crease before we go anywhere. I'm going to use the shade Art in the Pride palette, which is this beautiful light turquoisey color. So I'm just gonna pop a bunch of that onto my brush, tap off the excess, place my brush on the outer corner of my eye, tap it a little bit to get all of that initial product off, and just start blending in circular and windshield wiper motions into my crease. Dragging it all the way into that inner corner. Okay, so as I'm blending, you can tell that I'm not putting very much pressure when I'm blending, which is evidently giving me a nice soft diffused blend, because I'm holding my brush at the very end and I'm going in and using circular and windshield wiper motions. Whereas if you hold your brush closer to the actual bristles of the brush, the more pressure you're going to get, the harsher your eyeshadow is going to turn out. So I'm going to take this packing brush. Again, I'm going to use that same shade that we used in our crease, and I'm going to pack a bit of that onto my brush. And I'm going to stamp this onto my eyelid and pack it as well as I can. All right, once we have that packed into our lid and it's all blended out in the crease, we are going to take the shade Parade, which is right next to Art. I'm using a double-ended Anastasia brush that just comes in the palette. Using the blending side, I'm going to pack that onto my brush, dip it generously, and then tap off the excess. And then same thing, just a little bit lower. You're just going to tap it on the outer corner of your eye and blend it into your crease as well. Don't worry too much about kind of overtaking that color that we just put into our crease, because we can go back and use that to blend everything else out again. Taking that Parade shade again on that packing brush that we used to pack the lighter shade into our lid, I'm going to do the same thing and pack this Parade shade onto my lid as well. Usually when I do my eyeshadow, I kind of work it into like a winged shape. And I don't really go for like more of that rounded shape that some people do. I just find that working it into a winged shape just is better for my eye shape, I guess. Okay, so I'm taking that blending brush that we initially started off with, which is the M505 from Morphe, dipping into that dipping into the shade Art that we used before, and placing it right on top of this line of demarcation here in our shadow, which is right above our crease. And we're going to use this to blend it all out. All right, so once those are all blended out on the eye, I'm deciding that I want to deepen up the outer corner of my eye a little bit, and to do so, I'm just going to take the black shade in this palette, which is called NYC. Take the tiniest little bit, tap off all the excess that we possibly can, and I'm just going to tap this on the outer corner of my eye and then blend in circular motions. And then once I've done that, I'm going to dip back into that Parade shade and blend this out over it, and this is just going to add a little bit more depth. All right, once I've done that, I am going to pack a little bit of a glitter on the inner corner of my eye, and to do that, I'm going to use this Rumorsgossip.com white glitter. Okay, so this I was gifted from my mentor that I had when I was in hair school, because we did this thing called Mentors and Manicures. And she was also a makeup artist. She at one point had her own brand, but I guess she sold it to like a bigger company or whatever. But when she did have it, she handmade, I guess, all of these like products, and they're freaking amazing. She gifted me a little baggie of them, and this glitter is my absolute favorite. I use it all the time. So I'm just gonna take that, and it literally looks like this. Like, it is the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm gonna take that on a flat lip brush here. Just dip in the tiniest little bit because this does go everywhere. Tap off all the excess, and then very carefully, I'm going to stamp it on the inner corner of my eye here. All right, now that that's all fixed up, I am going to contour my face using my Makeup Forever sculpting kit, and I'm going to bronze my face using my Milani Silk Matte Powder Bronzer in Suntan. So I'm going to use the Milani product first on my Morphe M509, which is just like a highlighting blush brush. I use it for highlighting, contouring, blush. It's my favorite brush. So I'm just gonna dip in there, tap off the excess, and then just start warming up my face here. And I'm not gonna go too terribly crazy with it, just because in order to create the clouds that I want to, we need to lay down a cream product first. Okay, I'm gonna pop into that sculpting kit from Makeup Forever now, and I'm using, obviously, this shade here. Same brush. And I'm concentrating this very lightly. You can tell how lightly I'm blending this out by how I'm holding my brush just at the end there, tapping in, tapping off excess. And I'm concentrating this on my cheekbones. It's for the cream product that I was talking to you about before. We are just gonna take the Makeup Forever Flash Palette. This is a pricey baby, but I have a dupe. It's on Amazon. I will link it in the bottom below. Of course, you can just use like a cream blush for this. You don't even have to use a cream product. I just think it'll be easier. So I'm gonna get in there, and I'm going to mix my pink and my white, and I'll be back while I do that. This is the brush that I always use for concealer. Obviously, I cleaned it off. That's the pink that we've got so far. And I'm just going to go, and I'm going to kind of place this where I want to blend it out. That's where I want to go. I'm going to blend it out with my beauty sponge. I'm going to use my e.l.f. camo liner for this just because I find it easier because it dries down. So it's easier to put product over top of. I'm going to take my Morphe M224, which is the brush that I use to cut my brows and prime my lids. I'm going to jump into that lip brush as well just to get smaller cloud-like shapes here. I have to move my mirror closer to me so that I can actually see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going to dip into that concealer just on the very, very, very tip of the brush. I'm going to start creating little cloud shapes here. And then when I feel like that's not working for me, I'm going to go into that little lip brush. So you're going to create that initial bump, and then you're going to blend it down. And it doesn't have to be perfect because clouds are not a perfect shape. Just like that. And I'm gonna let it dry down and move on to making other little clouds. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna pop on lashes and I'll be back to do a lip. Lashes are on. I added a little bit of liquid liner on the top just to blend them. Popped on some mascara. I took that tealy shade and took it a little bit underneath my lower lash line, and I put a white liner on my waterline to make my eyes appear a little bit brighter and wider, or more open, I should say. Now we are going to get into the kind of highlighting, or yeah, like adding like the shadows. Now we're gonna get into adding the shadows to the clouds, and I'm just using that mixture that we used initially on our face and that brush that we used to create the clouds. And I'm just going to go in here and kind of place the shade wherever I think it needs to go. Highlight my face. I'm going to use my Morphe High Impact Highlighter in Spark. I love this so much. I got this in, what is it called? An Ipsy bag, because I did Ipsy for like 2 months and then just never renewed my subscription. Kind of sad about it, but it's fine. And then I'm going to take it on my Morphe M461 brush that looks like this. Tap it in there, get as much on there as I can. I love this highlighter. I'm just going to highlight above my brow bones, the tip of my nose. I'm literally gonna use my finger for that. The bridge of my nose. And high points of my cheeks as much as I can without wrecking my little clouds. A little bit more over the brow bone. I like to go ham with my highlighter, so. Ooh. Okay, now I'm going to take a small little tiny little lip brush and tap the corners of my eyeballs with this highlighter, and then I'm gonna hit that brow bone too. And then I decide that I don't like that on my brow bone. So I'm gonna use that little pigment again. paint the tiniest little bit to avoid as much fallout as I possibly can. I'm literally wearing pure cosmetic glitter as a highlight. It's fine. It do be pretty though. And take a little bit more. Tap that on my nose. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Can you hear that screaming? I can. It's annoying. And I think that's it. Thank you for joining me today while I did this and I made myself talk on camera instead of doing a voiceover. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!